Welcome to your journey of healing with the Healing Podcast, hosted by licensed clinician Monique Owe and co-host Dr. Amber Mohn.
Thank you for tuning into the Healing Podcast. I'm your host, Monique Owe, and I'm joined by my lovely co-host here,
Dr. Amber Mohn.
Okay, so today's topic is the burden or worry of expressing your true thoughts and feelings. So today, Dr. Mohn, the question is, people worry about expressing how they really feel, their real thoughts, right? They may minimize them. But why do people do that?
There's a lot of reasons. Definitely fear of being vulnerable, especially I would say for men.
Yes.
More than women. Fear of being judged.
Yes.
Fear of losing a relationship, losing someone, or just not wanting to upset someone.
That is true. That is true. Like Dr. Mohn said it, fear of just not, being understood. I think, it is hard because your feelings make you vulnerable sometimes, your thoughts, and sharing that with someone, that's a big step. And you don't want anyone to play on your emotions, to not understand you. So we kind of minimize our emotions, right? Because sometimes if you express yourself too much, Dr. Mohn mentioned for the men, if he overly expresses himself, people are like, well, here he go again. He's too emotional, right? So he may feel I can't express myself. For the women, you may feel judged if you express yourself, like if I really say how I feel about this, a person may be upset, so you don't really express yourself. Well, I guess my question would be with that, okay, if you make that choice, Dr. Mo, not to truly express how you really feel, is that helping a person or is that hurting them?
No, it's definitely hurting them.
It's hurting them.
Yeah, and you're talking about the person who is not
who's not expressing
it's
themselves.
definitely hurting them.
I think it's because they have to carry, well, I guess in that case, they'll be carrying a lie because they can say like let's say they family. Maybe they don't want to go over to that family member's house, right? But they keep, I love it over here. Do they really love it over there? Isn't that agony to sit there in someone's house that you can't stand to go over, right? But we don't tell that person, like, I'd rather not come over right now. Just that. You don't even have to get that deep, right, Dr. I think people just say, no, I got something to do. How about that? Why don't people choose that, though? That's an easy out to say, you know what? I just can't do that. I'd rather do this. Why don't people take the easy out to just say something alternative then?
I think just, sometimes, just making the other person happy, you just kind of, it is what it is. I'll just go over there because it makes them happy. So I won't have to hear their mouth,
yes.
Things of that nature. So,
yes, that is true. So I think the burden of that is that it weighs on you. It's heavy. You're not sure how to be received. I know that's got to create some type of anxiety because you're so worried about what might happen, what could happen. You're not sure it's going to happen because, again, that's unknown, but you're carrying all these thoughts, all these unknowns in your head. That's got to be a lot of pressure to carry. Not expressing yourself is not helpful to you. You're not being truthful to yourself about how you really feel. The thing is, the burden is, I think you're fearful of you may lose people. Like if you tell a friend, a true friend, a best friend, something about their behavior, like, you're always doing this to people. That person may get defensive and they may not want to be around you. So you're fearful of losing that person. You rather suck up how you feel to not lose that relationship. But I would say, Dr. Mohn, if a person gets offended by the truth and they walk away, is that a person that you should even have in your life?
Absolutely not. They did you a favor.
They did you a favor by walking away, right? So I think one thing is, I think the pressure of that is you don't want to lose people, but here's the thing. You can't have people that are not good for you in your life. And you not being truthful about someone's behavior, that's not helping them either. So are you the person who rather someone know the truth or just you're going to suffer with the lie? So I think that's another thing too, is it's not being so worried about how someone else feels. But carrying that's just a lot, right, Dr. Moon, to be able to keep up that pressure of how you feel. Because like here, I'll take it to this. What about relationships, Dr. Moon? If a wife is unhappy with her husband is unhappy with the wife, and they say what it is, how received is that?
I mean, it should be received very well because you should be in an open environment to where you can kind of discuss your dislikes and your likes. I mean, we all change. So that's a healthy environment when you are able to express your dislikes. But when you can't, then that's another story.
It's another story.
Yeah.
I think mature people, right, Dr. Mohn, or people who can be objective can probably listen. Okay, let me let me listen to what you're saying to me and see how it applies, right? But I think people get so defensive. Like if someone says, look, I just don't like that you do this anymore. Like you've slacked in this area. The other person gets so defensive and you're like, it's no point because it's an argument. But I think when we're both mature adults, we can express like, look, I know I don't like that you wear your hair that way, right? Or to the husband, I don't like when you keep doing this every time you come in the house. I don't like this behavior. Maybe you've been slacking. No, you've been a little lackadaisical and I feel like you've left a lot of things on me. Be honest about that. But here's another tricky one, Dr. Mohn. What about when someone may have a little, I didn't say they cheated.
Okay.
A husband or wife, a boyfriend or girlfriend, someone else they're a little attracted to. Not wanting to do anything, but just find themselves a little attracted. Can they say that to their partner?
Okay. So
what
you're asking me is, can your husband say, hey, I'm kind of attracted to that woman over there?
Can they say that? Honestly.
Maybe not in those words. You could maybe say, she's a very beautiful woman.
Okay.
And, if you're a wife who's secure in your relationship and it is not bothered with it, you can say, you know what, she is an attractive woman.
Okay.
But I don't know if you're going to tell me, well, I'm attracted, because my thing is, especially, Monique, if it's somebody that you know.
Well, yeah.
I don't know.
Hence the burden. Here's where I come. Hence the burden of you're going to have to not, express the true feelings because can you tell your boyfriend or girlfriend or your spouse, I'm attracted a little bit to that friend of yours. Just a little bit like, can you? Because that might create other problems, right, Dr. Mohn?
It can, yes, definitely. But let me just add that. Let me ask you this. Would that be hurting the person who's attracted to this person if they didn't tell their wife that or girlfriend that?
Exactly. I don't know. That's where I would say maybe you don't always have to share everything because I don't know if you not telling your wife or girlfriend or boyfriend that, hey, I'm attracted to your friend. I don't know if that's going to hurt you. Unless it's a burning desire and you're thinking about doing something, right? I think, but I don't know if it's really going to hurt your health if you don't tell your wife, hey, and I'm weighing a little bit. But, so I think some things, within reason, you might have to keep certain things to yourself because expressing that thing might cause more harm. Because now your wife or your husband will think, well, so you always been like that? Are you out with them? So I think, that might be a case there. So before we go into deeper how you can get over not expressing how you feel, let's go ahead and make a quick segue here into, you guessed it, the situation. Dr. Mohn, what is our situation for today?
All right. Thank you, Monique. All right, here's our situation. Dear Healing Podcast, I am still angry at my ex. I am divorced. The split was amicable, but we had a lot of issues in our marriage. I really tried to make things work. We went to therapy, we went to counseling at church, etc. We just couldn't come to a place of agreement. Now I'm trying to learn me and who I am. However, I feel myself angry at times because he seems to be so happy. He has moved. He seems to have a nice house. He just seems to be flourishing while I feel stuck. How can I stop being so angry and just move on? Good question. And I thank you so much for writing in. And I thank you for your honesty. And you know what? What I hear is you said you're still angry. And so you are working to, learn who you are. And I think that's a great thing because in that you can kind of learn or figure out if you don't already know why you're angry because you said the divorce was amicable. So that means that you're not mad at the fact that, it didn't work out between you two, that you two weren't a good fit. So what are you upset about? Now, I hear seems a lot. He seems to be this way. He seems to have this. He has this, and his life seems to be flourishing. Well, is yours? I don't know. Do you have a house? Do you have, what's going on with you? I think that you're focused more on what's going on with him, but everything is not all that it seems. So just because he has a house, just because he seems like his life may be flourishing, doesn't mean that it really is. But that's neither here nor there when we're talking about your happiness. You are divorced, and so this person, should be happy. You should want them to be happy with whoever they're going to be with and for the rest of their life. But what's going on with you? And I think that you need to work on your anger and figure out what's going on. And I think that everything else will just, fit into place. I think that you should just move on because you already know that, this person was not the right person for you. So, yeah, I'll leave it at that.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Mohn, for that. And thank you for writing into the Healing Podcast. I think you said, how can you stop from being so angry? I think it's Dr. Mo mentioned it, the root of your anger. I think maybe what might be bothering you is not the divorce, but maybe why you stayed. Maybe you felt like you overstayed when you may feel like you wasted time, right? Sometimes that bothers us when we do that. And as you said, it seems like he's doing better. So you may feel like I wasted all this time and now you're doing good and now I'm not. But like Dr. Mo mentioned, seems does not mean reality. I can make a picture. I can smile in any picture, right? And look happy, but I may not be happy. What I would say for you is one thing to trigger your anger. Stop. I don't know how you're connected with him and you see all this. Maybe you guys still have mutual friends. If he's on your social media, take him off, right? Don't go to places where you have to see or hear about him. Not right now, right? If you guys have children, maybe that might be a way you hear certain things, but your children should be able to focus on your time with them or whatever. Maybe you have custody of your children. So when he comes up, shift the conversation, And again, I'm going to say, just because you think things are one way, it's not really the case. I mean, people may have thought that you guys were happy even while you were going through a divorce, but, that's just an assumption. So focus on you, focus on the root of the anger. How can you stop being so angry? Well, be honest with yourself, and you're probably going to need to get some therapy. You're going to have to do that to process those things. You may be angry about just where your life is. Not even anything to do with him, but just you may feel like I should be further in life and I'm just not there. So that anger might be from pain, unresolved issues that now have turned into anger. So I would say maybe get with the coach. I hope that helps you. And Dr. Mo, anything else about this situation?
No.
All right. Thank you for writing into the Healing Podcast. Anyone else out there that would like to write in, please go to email support@thehealingpodcast.com or go to thehealingpodcast.com, hit the contact tab and submit your situation that way. Quick mention to our sponsor, Healing Expressions, LLC.com. If you're in the Atlanta or Georgia area and would like to book a therapeutic session, go ahead and book a session today. All right, so back to the topic of the burden of expressing our thoughts and feelings and the pressures that come with it. Well, when you don't express yourself, yes, it's going to be a lot of weight on you sometimes because you're keeping up a facade or you're lying to yourself. But let's figure out what truly is. The way to get through this is figuring out, I think, Dr. Mohn, what really is affecting us from not expressing ourselves and what isn't. Like that example before the break, telling your spouse that you have an attraction towards someone else. I don't know if that's something that's going to hurt you if you don't express it. I think you'll be fine if you don't share that part, right? It might even be better because I don't know if it's going to cause an issue in your marriage if you keep it to yourself. I think it'll be fine. But I think when it's starting to affect your health and it's starting to affect your movements with people and you're dumbing yourself down just because you're afraid of hurting their feelings, then yeah, that's a problem when you're carrying that, right, Dr. Mo? When I have to feel like I'm dumbing myself down to make you feel better, I think that's the problem, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. Dr. Mo, how can people stop doing that? Stop thinking about everybody else so much.
Well, just communicate with your friends or your partner. It's important. Understand that your feelings matter. How you feel about things, like you should be able to express it. And if you can't, that's a problem. I mean, it is. Because we talked about, the causes of it. Feeling misunderstood, anger, depression, loneliness. It might seem okay now, but, eventually you continuing to feel misunderstood or not heard, can result in you, resentment, anger. Go ahead and stop that before it even starts. How a relationship starts is how it should end. So make sure that you're just communicating. I think that's important.
Okay, so Dr. Mohn said, look at yourself, see how you're feeling. It's okay to express yourself. I'm going to say get around people more so that encourage you to be honest. Sometimes we're around the wrong people, the wrong type of friends who cause us to feel that way. Get around people who encourage you and respect your opinion, okay? So I'm going to say that is a way to do that. If you need help with that, I think a life coach can help you or a therapist. If not, listen to some podcasts that can help you be comfortable with expressing yourself. And talk to more people that encourage you to express how you feel. Be around more positive than negative. That is a way to get through that burden of not expressing how you feel, okay? Because there's nothing wrong with expressing how you feel. It's just realize once you express it, the other person has a response. And you have to be okay with their response. Because their response may not be a happy one, but you got to be okay with that. Dr. Mohn, anything else about this topic today of the burden of expressing ourselves? Okay. Well, let me go ahead and leave you guys with this really quick. And that is, always remember you are braver than you believe, stronger than you seem, smarter than you think, and loved more than you know. We thank you for tuning into the Healing Podcast, and we will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.